What up guys, Ashley Elizabeth here with AHM Artistry, and I am here to deliver you the promised looks from the Blood Sugar palette. I promised to do a couple videos for you guys showing off some different looks you can create with this bad boy, and here I am doing it. Today, as you saw in the title, we are going to be doing like a rose gold theme. It has been a few weeks now that I have this palette, and it is so hard to use anything else. It's just beautiful. It's just lovely. If you were lucky enough to get yourself one when he either did his first launch or he did his pre-order or relaunch, then congratulations. It is so awesome. If you haven't been able to get your hands on it yet, but you want to, hold fast, young sailor, because I heard Morphe is launching it, maybe Beauty Bay, maybe Beautylish. I'll link them all down in the description box and you can check those sites and see if they're up yet. Whatever it may be, maybe Jeffree Star will come out with more soon. He did say it is going to be a permanent line. So I wanted to do some looks for you in case you guys get it. If you haven't seen the swatch video yet and you want to, you can always click this link right up here or check down in the description box and you can watch that. I can tell you as an update that I love it. It is so sturdy, the case is so beautiful, and I hope he comes out with more palettes in this style. But I will say there is a little bit of fallout with a few of the shades, so I did not do my face makeup yet. I just did my brows. If you want to see a brow video, then I have those too. There were a few darker shades that were swatching very weird with a finger swatch. However, when I go to use it with a brush and just a primed eyelid, it's not a problem. It's totally fine, so that's good. Anyways, enough jibber jabbing. Let's go ahead and start this tutorial, okay? First up, we are going to start priming the lids. I use the Smashbox 24-hour shadow primer. I just sweep that all along the lids. And then I want to cancel out all of that undertone so my colors aren't fighting with it. So I'm going to go in with my Urban Decay All Nighter concealer, and then I'm going to put that on top of the primed lids just to add to that color. See, my lids are nice and veiny naturally, as most people are, so this cancels everything out. Some people like using a white primer, and that'll do the job too, but I like doing it this way. Start us off, I'm going to be dipping into Sugarcane with a nice fluffy brush, and this will act as my transition shade right on the crease. When you're building your transition color, you can just slowly add a little bit of color at a time, starting at the crease and then blending up and out to wherever you want that color to blend to. Just keep blending and blending until you're happy with it, and then you can move on to the next shade. The funny thing about the Sugarcane shade is in the palette, it looks like a very taupe transition shade, but actually in person, as you apply it, it's very pink undertones, not like bubblegum pink or anything crazy, but it definitely has a, pink base to it. Moving on, I'm gonna grab a different fluffy brush that has a little more point to it. We're gonna be dipping into Cake Mix just to build up that crease a little bit more before we move into Tongue Pop. Take that right in the crease this time, not blending as high as you did with the transition shade. See the dimension that we're creating with that? All these shades, I will say, are very warm tone. Some of them look very neutral in the palette, but once you start applying them onto your lid, they definitely have a warm undertone. So if you do not like a warm tone palette, well, you wouldn't be looking at this palette anyways. But just in case you were thinking there was a lot of neutral colors in here, there really isn't. Okay, so I just adjusted my white balance a little bit because I forgot that was something that I needed to do because I've been looking a little bit yellow now, and you can see now that the transition shades are a lot more warm tone, so that's more true to what I'm seeing in real life. And if you hear my AC blowing, sorry, it is freaking hot in here. It's like 85 degrees again in SoCal, and it's like supposed to be April. But anyways, moving on. So I'm going to take my Sigma E25 brush and dip it into Tongue Pop, which is that really beautiful coral shade. This time we're going to focus it just on the crease, just to add a little more rosy tone. And now at this point, you can actually start bringing it down to the outer V. So taking that Tongue Pop and then bringing it right down here, kind of a mini transition, but just using that shade because we're going to do a little half cut crease with some pretty rose gold shimmers from the palette. You don't have to worry about being too sharp or too blended right here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that line out when I go to do my foundation. Now before we continue into our deeper shades and our glitter, I'm going to take Glucose, which is a crazy white shade. Take this little round brush that I use for my brow bone. I'm going to start blending that area out and creating that lifted effect on the brow. I'm going to take it down here and make sure that's nice and blended out too. If you're having too harsh of a line with the white, because it is a very white shade, go ahead and take whatever brush you first used for your transition shade and make sure that it's very blended. And you might have to go back and forth a couple times to create that really pretty blend. Okay, and then what I even like to do is I take Glucose and I put it right on the inner corners because I'm going to be putting some glitter there later and I really want it to pop. If you'd used a white cream, you might not have to do this, but my inner corners like never pop at all. So I have to use like a white base, be it white shadow or a white cream, and that'll help my inner corners to brighten up a lot. So if you have that problem, that is a little trick you can do. Just make sure it's really blended in. So we are now going to be creating that half cut crease look. I'm going to be going back with my Urban Decay All Nighter concealer and I'm going to be just placing it right about there, and you can use a brush to assist you in this too. If you're using the All Nighter concealer, make sure you only work on one eye at a time because this puppy dries fast and you don't got time to do one and then go back to the other because the other side would already be set. Because this side is nice and tacky right now, I'm going to go ahead and just work on this side for the time being. I bring my cut crease up a little bit higher since I do have a pretty big fold, and then once my lashes aren't, it's hard to see. So I like to do a little higher. So work with your eye shape, work with your preference. I'm going to grab this little flat brush. Yes, it's from that unicorn look that I did. I'm going to dip it into Candy Floss. I'm gonna put it right there. So this is just acting as our base, and then we're gonna go in with the sweetener shade, a little bit damp on that. So to wet my brush, I'm gonna be using the Smashbox primer water, and I'm just gonna spritz that brush just a little bit, take off any kind of excess wetness that's too much on the back of my hand. I'm gonna be dipping it into a sweetener. Sweetener has this really cool rose gold rusty shift that I just love. So then we're gonna place that right over, and this is gonna give it that nice duochrome effect. So pretty. Okay, so now what I want to do is deepen up my crease and then the outer corners. So I'm going to be taking this little pencil brush into intravenous. I'm going to start on the outer corner, patting it, and then I'll blend it over and out. I'm taking this really fine pointed angle brush and I'm just going to go right above where we cut that crease out. Just like to deepen that up a smidge bit, but not add too much color. The reason why I'm doing it this way instead of applying the dark first is because after I applied it, I was like, I want this a little darker. I want a little more boom. So this is a way to still deepen up your shadow if you already did your cut crease, but you're like, I want it a little deeper. So this is a way to do it without messing up the whole cut crease situation. So if you already know you want to do a darker look like this, you can blend out this darker shade and then go in with your cut crease. And you can watch my St. Patrick's Day video if you want to see how I like to do that. You can click that right here. Otherwise, let's keep moving on. After you deepen up your edges, if you chose to do so, then you can go in and clean up that line if you blurred it out too much. So just take that same brush and the sweetener shade and just clean it up just a slight bit. But it's nice because you can do those two different looks. If you didn't like the deepen look, you can stop and just do the 3 Trio Sugarcane Cake Mix and Tongue Pop, and then just do that really natural, just, you know, warm tone look. Or you can go a step further with this and deepen it up with intravenous. So now one more shade we're going to do. I'm gonna grab my little fluffy angled brush and I'm gonna dip it into Coma and intravenous. Yeah, that creates like a really cool brown tone. And just do the edges because I just want it a little bit darker. Okay, so here is what we are working with so far. Now we're gonna do some liner and lashes. So let's go ahead and first I'm gonna do my upper waterline with just a black pencil. Then I'm gonna wing out my eyes starting with the Tarte Clay Pot black liner, and then I'm gonna go over it with a felt tip liquid liner. Okay, so there is the winged liner. Now time for lashes. So I'm gonna do these House of Lashes that I got called Knockout, and then I'm gonna use my new Tarte lash curler. Now, you guys, I freaking hated this lash curler when I first used it. I wanted to throw it against the wall, and I was so mad at myself for buying this $20 lash curler just because of the cute fin. However, I started using it anyways every day. I wanted to curl my lashes, and I get it now. I thought at first they weren't curling, but I did one side and I just hold it down at the base for a minute, and then I work my way up, and I was able to get it to work for my lashes, and now as you can see, it does curl significantly. Do I think this is worth the $20 price tag? Absolutely not. It is super gimmicky, and you can get some way better ones for way less. However, if you want a really cute eyelash curler to put in your brush cup or whatever, then yeah, it's cute. That's what I have it for. I wanted to throw that in there at some point in case any of you guys were interested in purchasing this Tarte Mermaid eyelash curler, because you have to know that it just doesn't feel like it's doing anything. Like the spring is too, I don't know. I don't know what makes it feel like that. It just doesn't feel as strong as my normal Mayhaws one, but I've been able to get it to work. It's very bouncy, very weird. I'm gonna pop on some mascara, and then I will pop on those lashes, okay? Oh, you guys, how pretty are these lashes? I am obsessed with them. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my face. I'm actually gonna be filming my go-to Beat Face foundation tutorial. So I'm gonna do that really quickly, and then we will do the lower lash line together. And with the power of movie magic, my whole face is done in 0.3 seconds. No, but really, if you guys wanna see my full foundation video, plus a little chit chat and some fun story time, then make sure you are subscribed, because I will be uploading that video on a Friday. So anyways, let's finish this lower lash line. Pretty simple. We're gonna be taking that pencil brush, and then I'm gonna be going in with Tongue Pop right on the lower lash line, obviously. It's the only side we haven't done yet. Getting that blend, girl. I'm taking my little Sigma E25 brush and just making sure that's all blended out nicely. Taking that little angled brush and dipping it into intravenous, getting it as close to the lower lash line as possible. Doing a nice smoked out little lower lash line. Now that brush that I used on my brow bone earlier, dip it into sweetener and glucose just to lighten up that shade a little bit. See, I want to make it pop, yes. You glow, girl. Just make sure that's blended out. I'm gonna take my NYX Wonder Pencil to about mid 3/4 of the way. It's about that much. And then I'm gonna be taking a Torch from Urban Decay and doing right there. I feel like this shade just gives a little interest to the looks, makes it a little bit different, and I kind of blend it out. So I take that shade and just really make sure it's blended so they kind of more flow into each other. Really pretty. Okay, my little love bugs, here is a little up close shot of the finished look from using the Jeffree Star Blood Sugar palette, creating this really pretty rose gold semi-cut crease little look for you. I wanted to do this look today because I wanted to just do something different than everything else that I'm seeing on YouTube and on Instagram. Everybody's using this palette beautifully, and they're using all those fun, vibrant colors, which I will be doing next. I will do a video with fun, vibrant, crazy colors in this palette. But I wanted to show you that you could do a more softer kind of look. I guess you can call this a softer, somewhat more neutralized, just not using the hot pinks and the reds. I wanted to use more of those neutral colors so you can see truly what they look like going on, and that they're not neutral colors. Those shades are very warm undertones. Some almost look more on the pink side. You're going to want to make sure that you are subscribed so that you get notified as soon as I post the full face finished off on Friday, as well as the next Jeffree Star palette review, along with all the other 2 to 3 videos that I post every week. Thank you guys so much for joining me here today, and if you are one of my OG subscribers, then you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for watching, and you guys all have a great, lovely day.